Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about what's going on in the stock market and some news that's caught my eye on a few stocks I follow, specifically NVIDIA and HIMS and HERS Health. The market's been wild and there's a lot to unpack. Let's get started. The market's been tough to watch lately. On Friday, April 4th, 2025, things got messy. Dow dropped 2,200 points, S&P fell 6%, Nasdaq slid 5.8%. That's the worst day since 2020, and it's all tied to those 10% tariffs that started April 5th. China's hitting back with 34% tariffs on US goods starting April 10th, and JP Morgan's now saying there's a 60% chance of a recession by year end. The S&P's down 18% from its February high, and X is full of people freaking out, some saying their 401ks are down 40%. I don't get too worked up over daily swings, but this kind of volatility makes you pay attention. Tariffs are shaking up supply chains, and tech's taking a big hit. Semiconductors, e-commerce, you name it. That's the backdrop for the stocks I'm watching, and there's some news on a couple that I think is worth talking about. Let's start with NVIDIA. The tariff announcement tanked tech stocks. NVIDIA wasn't spared. Chip makers are sensitive to trade wars. But here's what I found interesting. Today, April 7th, NVIDIA is highlighting their robotics work for National Robotics Week. 3 of their researchers, Shuren Song, Abhishek Gupta, and UK Zhu, just won the IEEE's 2025 Early Academic Career Award for stuff like scalable robot learning and embodied AI. Why is this a big deal? NVIDIA is not just about gaming or data centers anymore. They're pushing into physical AI, robots that can think and move in the real world. Their data center revenue hit $115 billion in fiscal 2025, up 142% from last year, and this robotics push could be the next leg of growth. At $94, it's 24% off its $124 high this year. Tariffs are a headwind. Supply chain costs could rise, but Taiwan's got a temporary break on raw chips, and I think the market's overreacting. This award news shows they're still innovating, and that's why I'm keeping an eye on it. Next up, HIMS and HERS Health. They added Eli Lilly's Zepbound to their telehealth platform, a big-name weight loss drug. It popped 5% that day, but Friday's market rout likely erased that gain. Here's why I like this. HIMS is telehealth, hair loss, ED, now weight loss, and Zepbound taps into a massive trend. Weight loss drugs are everywhere. Ozempic set the pace, and HIMS was already doing compounded versions. Adding Zepbound at $199 a month could bring in a ton of new users. Revenue's doubled in 2 years. They're profitable, and analysts see $4 billion in sales soon. Trading at 40 times earnings, reasonable for 50% growth. Tariffs don't really touch them. It's US focused. So this move feels like a bright spot in a dark week. Looking at the bigger picture, these updates, NVIDIA's Robotics Awards, HIMS's Zepbound edition, show why I focus on companies with real momentum. Tariffs are a problem. They're jacking up costs, and recession talk's getting louder.
The President of the United States saying he is not considering any type of pause in terms of tariffs going forward, and in fact, doubling down on his threat to impose an additional 50% tariff on China if that country doesn't lower its retaliatory 34% tariffs on the United States.
Open to a pause in tariffs to allow for negotiations?
Well, we're not looking at that. We have many countries that are coming to negotiate deals with us, and they're going to be fair deals, and in certain cases they're going to be paying substantial tariffs. There'll be fair deals. As you know, I spoke this morning with the Prime Minister of Japan, and we had a very good conversation. They're coming. And I said, one thing, you're going to have to open up your country, because we sold no cars, like 0 cars in Japan. And they sold millions of cars into our country. They don't really take our agriculture, a little bit of it, just to keep us slightly happy. But
UBS just cut its S&P target, but I don't think it's all doom. NVIDIA's chips and HIMS's drugs aren't going away because of trade fights. What I'm watching is how this shakes out. China's 34% tariffs could dent global demand. Tech might stay weak for a bit. On the flip side, Bloomberg saying markets now expect 4 Fed rate cuts in 2025, up from 2 last week. That could lift stocks like these if it happens. X is split. Some say crash, some say buy the dip. I'm in the middle. Volatility's here, but I like what I'm seeing with these two. So that's what's on my mind. NVIDIA's robotics push and HIMS and HERS with Zepbound. The market's ugly right now. Tariffs are hitting hard, but these are real stories I think matter. Drop what you're watching in the comments. I read them all, and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks for watching. Let's keep building those returns.